Before we begin, I want to make something very clear. What you are about to hear is my personal reflection as a Christian. This is not a doctrine, not an official teaching, and not a claim of absolute truth. It is simply how I personally interpret the Bible, how I reflect on faith, and how I think about one of the deepest questions a human being can ask. This reflection is offered for thought, not for debate. One of the most common questions people ask about God is simple, yet profound. Who created God? At first glance, the question seems logical. Everything we know has a beginning. Everything we observe has a cause. So it feels natural to ask, if God created everything, then who created God? The Bible approaches this question in a very different way than human logic usually does. The opening verse of Scripture, Genesis 1 verse 1, says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." What strikes me personally is that the Bible does not attempt to explain God's origin. It does not describe God coming into existence. It simply presents God as already there. From my interpretation, this is intentional. Later, in Psalm 90 verse 2, we read, "Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God." This verse introduces a concept that challenges the human mind. God is described as everlasting. From my perspective, this means God exists outside the limits that define everything else we know: time, space, and matter. Another powerful passage is found in Isaiah 40 verse 28. "Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary." Again, God is not described as a created being, but as the source of creation itself. This leads to an important distinction, at least in my understanding. Everything within the universe has a cause. God, according to the Bible, is not within the universe, he is beyond it. In John 1 verse 1 through 3, the text says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made." What stands out to me here is the phrase, "Without him nothing was made that has been made." This suggests a category difference. There are created things, and then there is God. From my personal reflection, asking who created God may be similar to asking what is north of the North Pole. The question assumes a framework that does not apply. The Bible seems to present God as the necessary being, not a dependent one. In Exodus 3 verse 14, when Moses asks God for his name, God responds, "I am who I am." To me, this is one of the most mysterious and revealing statements in Scripture. God defines himself not by origin, but by existence. Now, what about the earth and the heavens? The Bible consistently teaches that creation had a beginning. In Hebrews 11 verse 3, it says, "By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible." From my perspective, this suggests that the material world is contingent. It depends on something beyond itself. The heavens, the earth, time, space, and matter are described as created realities. God is described as the one who speaks them into existence. This distinction is crucial to understanding the biblical worldview. God does not compete with creation. He is not part of it. He is the foundation beneath it. However, this reflection raises another important question, one we cannot ignore. If God exists outside time and creation, how does he relate to the world we live in? And how does this understanding shape faith, meaning, and purpose? Continuing this reflection, I want to restate something important. What follows is still my personal interpretation as a Christian. It is not an attempt to explain God fully, but to reflect on how the Bible presents him and how that understanding shapes faith. If God exists outside time, space, and creation, then the next natural question is, how does such a God interact with the world we live in? the Bible presents God as both transcendent and present. In Isaiah 57:15, it says, "For this is what the high and exalted one says, he who lives forever, whose name is holy. I live in a high and holy place, but also with the one who is contrite and lowly in spirit." From my perspective, this verse beautifully balances two ideas. God is beyond everything, yet not distant, eternal, yet involved. The creation of the heavens and the earth is described not as an accident, but as an intentional act. In Psalm 19, verse 1, we read, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands." To me, this suggests that creation itself points beyond itself. It exists, but it does not explain itself. The Bible also teaches that creation is not eternal. In 2 Peter 3:10, it says, "The heavens will disappear with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire." This reinforces the idea that the universe has a beginning and will have an end. God, however, is consistently described as unchanging. In Malachi 3:6, God says, "I, the Lord, do not change." From my understanding, this difference matters deeply. It means meaning, truth, and purpose are not grounded in a temporary universe, but in an eternal source. Another profound statement appears in Colossians 1:16-17. "For in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together." From my reflection, God is not just the beginning, he is the sustainer. This brings us to a very personal dimension of the question. If God was not created, and if the earth and the heavens were, then human life exists within a story that is larger than itself. In Ecclesiastes 3:11, it says, "He has set eternity in the human heart." To me, this explains why questions about God never disappear. We are temporal beings, yet we long for eternal answers. The question, "Who created God?" may ultimately reveal more about us than about God. It reveals our need for causes, explanations, and boundaries. The Bible invites us to consider that God is the boundary, not something inside it. Faith, then, is not the abandonment of reason, it is the recognition of reason's limits. In Romans 11:33, Paul writes, "Oh, the depth of the riches of the wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable his judgments and his paths beyond tracing out." From my perspective, this is not discouraging, it is humbling. So who created God? According to the Bible, no one did. God simply is. Who created the earth and the heavens? According to Scripture, God did. This distinction shapes the entire Christian worldview. In the end, this reflection is not about solving a mystery, but about understanding our place within it. If God is eternal and creation is not, then life has meaning beyond survival, purpose beyond accumulation, hope beyond time. That is how I personally reflect on this question, not as a final answer, but as a direction for thought.